people in the country illegally, and he was focusing in the campaign on criminals. So people who committed crimes who in the country illegally.
We are a country of laws, and laws are not suggestions. They're not guidelines. They're not optional. They're not Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the next week. These are laws.
Welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the most heated and complex debates in America right now, immigration enforcement and the protests unfolding in Los Angeles. From demands to release violent offenders to questions about what should happen to long-settled, undocumented immigrants, opinions on this issue are deeply divided. We'll break down what different speakers are saying, explore the legal and moral arguments, and look at what it all means for the future of U.S. immigration policy.
Just give me an overview, Phil, about what is going on in Los Angeles and where your biggest sympathies lie.
Piers, it's good to talk to you again. And once again, I think the mainstream media, the legacy media, they're just ignoring the facts here. They're really wanting to inflame the situation. They're not wanting to inform people about what's really going on. And I'm really not sure what the objective is of the mob here. I listened to a lot of the speakers on microphones last night, yesterday, really since this all started, and they're demanding the release of the people that were arrested. Surely they can't expect that to happen. I mean, what would happen if the federal government just said, hey, okay, all right.
The speaker criticizes mainstream media for ignoring facts and instead inflaming the situation in Los Angeles. They express confusion over the protesters' demands, particularly the call to release those arrested, arguing that it's unrealistic to expect the government to simply let them go. The speaker suggests that the protesters' objectives are unclear and believes their actions could set a dangerous precedent.
You guys are upset, so we're going to open the jail and turn all of these people that were arrested, lawfully arrested, we're just going to turn them loose. And among those they would be turning loose are drug traffickers, those that are accused of domestic violence, one with an indictment for second-degree murder, a 55-year-old illegal alien from the Philippines convicted of burglary, sexual penetration with a foreign object, assault with intent to commit rape, a Mexican national with a rap sheet that includes shooting up a house and a vehicle with people in them, willful cruelty to a child, driving under the influence, an illegal alien from Vietnam with a criminal history that includes conviction for second-degree murder as well. So I'm not sure what they're expecting to happen here. Surrender? To just say, hey, we give up, we surrender. You guys don't like the laws that your elected officials passed, so we'll turn everybody loose. This is a ridiculous position.
The speaker argues it's absurd for protesters to demand the release of arrested individuals in Los Angeles, noting that many face serious charges like murder, assault, and drug trafficking. They call the idea of freeing these dangerous offenders simply because people disagree with the laws both irresponsible and ridiculous. Instead of giving in to mob pressure, the speaker believes enforcing the law is necessary to maintain public safety and uphold justice.
It seems to me, looking from afar, I'm in the UK at the moment, that I've got a house in LA, as you know, and spend a lot of time there. It just seems to me that Trump is doing exactly what he said he'd do. He said, I'm going to do mass deportations of people in the country illegally, and he was focusing in the campaign on criminals. So people who committed crimes who in the country illegally. And I think most Americans I've spoken to have absolutely no problem with people who are in America illegally in the first place, who are then committing crimes and are caught committing crimes, of those people being thrown out of the country. There's unanimity about that. It gets more complicated I mean, Gavin Newsom talked there about a 4-year-old girl, and that's one of the stories you get, where you get people who, by association, perhaps to illegal people who commit crimes, they get thrown out too, or they're there illegally, but they haven't committed crimes while they've been in the United States, and they've built, maybe as Newsom said, a 10-year life, and they've paid taxes and so on. And then you have the dreamers, obviously, who were born in the United States to illegal immigrants and so on. It's complicated, this. What is your view generally about who should stay and who should go?
The Speaker, currently in the UK, but with ties to Laos, observes that Trump is following through on his promise to deport people in the US illegally, especially criminals. They note that most Americans they've spoken to support deporting those who commit crimes while in the country illegally. However, they acknowledge the issue gets more complex when it involves individuals who have lived in the US for years, paid taxes, or built lives, like long-term residents, families, and dreamers.
Well, listen, it really, I listened to Gavin Newsom speak about that, and I have several thoughts about what he had to say. First off, I don't care how he feels. I barely care how I feel about this. It's not a matter of opinion. We are a country of laws, and laws are not suggestions. They're not guidelines. They're not optional. They're not Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the next week. These are laws, and they were passed by Congress. And the people in Congress were elected by those people in Los Angeles. They have representatives in Congress that pass these laws. And once those laws are passed, are they not to be enforced universally across the board? They're not, they're not optional. And the people they're attacking.
The Speaker responds firmly, arguing that immigration enforcement isn't about personal feelings or opinions. It's about upholding the law. They stress that US laws, passed by elected representatives, are not optional or open to selective enforcement. Once laws are in place, they should be applied equally and consistently to everyone. The Speaker criticizes those who attack law enforcement for simply doing their job.
Had nothing to do with it. These ICE agents, do you think anybody asked a single ICE agent, what's your opinion of the law? They're hurling rocks at the heads of these ICE agents. And so they're going after them. They had nothing to do with this.
But again, Phil, what I would say to that, just to jump in, what I would say to that is, I've watched those scenes and they're utterly horrific. And the people doing that, they're trying to kill people, right? So I would absolutely charge them with attempted murder. You throw a rock at a passing car and smash the windows, you're trying to kill that person, in my estimation. I don't think anyone's got any problem with people doing that. If they're there illegally, then throw them out of the country. But what about the people who are not criminals, whose only crime, and it is a crime because if you enter the country illegally, you have entered the country illegally, you've broken the law. But do you think it's enough if that is your only crime, i.e. you're there illegally to start with, if you built a life, you have a family and so on, is that enough to be seized off the streets by ICE and deported, in your opinion?
The Speaker condemns violent attacks on ICE agents, stating that those throwing rocks are attempting murder and should be charged accordingly. They argue that enforcing the law is not the fault of ICE agents, who are just doing their jobs. While they support deporting violent offenders, they raise a more complex question about non-violent, undocumented immigrants, those whose only offense is entering the country illegally, but who have since built stable lives.
In my opinion, that's the law. And listen, Thomas Sowell was speaking, someone that I admire greatly was speaking about this just a few days ago. I listened to him talk about this, and he said it very well. He said, nobody questions the humanity of most of the people that have crossed the border, even illegally, that there are some good people there, some family people there. The Hispanic population is by and large, their culture is very family oriented. So no one is questioning the humanity of those people, even if they cross the border, but that doesn't make them immune from the law. If you are here illegally, Tom Homan has said it very clearly. There's an app that you can go to that says, look, self-deport, take yourself out of the country if you're here illegally. They give, if you register there, they give you time to get your affairs in order here. They give you a plane ticket to fly you back to where you came from when you entered the country illegally. They even give you $1,000 when you get on the ground back where you came from to help you get your feet under you there. But if you stay here,
The speaker emphasizes that while many undocumented immigrants are good, family-oriented people, their humanity doesn't exempt them from the law. Referencing Thomas Sowell and Tom Homan, they argue that being in the country illegally still requires accountability. They mention programs offering voluntary self-deportation, which provide time to prepare, a plane ticket home, and even financial assistance upon arrival.
and you are arrested, they have to find you, arrest you, process you, and send you out. You face bars. It can be 5 years, it can be 20 years, it can be forever to come back into this country if they have to find you, arrest you, process you, and deport you. So the whole reason of being so transparent about this process is to let people know if you're here illegally, you need to take measures to remove yourself so you can then file for a visa and come back in here legally. So I think if you're here illegally, you're here illegally. Now, if you don't like that policy, if you don't like that law, then change it. These people shouldn't be protesting on the highways in South LA. They should be going to the Capitol in DC and protesting to the legislature to change the immigration law.
But there are estimates that the number of illegal immigrants in the United States, a country, of course, founded on immigration, that there could be as many as 30, 50, maybe 80 million people in the country illegally. No one's really quite sure, but it's tens of millions, whichever figure you want to buy into. Would you be happy, Phil, given that a lot of those people have settled in the United States for many years, had kids maybe in the United States, got a job, paid taxes, contributed to society, maybe doing a lot of menial work that is very important to keeping America running? Would you be happy if literally all of them were deported as a matter of principle?
The speaker argues that if undocumented immigrants refuse to self-deport, they face arrest, deportation, and long bans on re-entry, emphasizing that laws must be enforced. They suggest that instead of protesting in the streets, people should lobby Congress to change immigration laws. While estimates of undocumented immigrants range widely, from 30 to 80 million, many have built lives, raised families, and contributed to society.
I think we would be in a serious crisis if everyone left this country, and I think we need to address that. I think we need to address that in the legislature. I mean, clearly, this is a country of immigrants, some legal, some illegal. And if we have dysfunctional immigration laws, then we need to call an immediate session of Congress, address this, and find a way to get visas for these people, work visas, whatever kind of visas, or get the immigration courts unstopped. They're stopped up right now. Get that blockage out of the way so you can actually process people. But the reason they're stopped up for 7, 8, 9 more years is because all the people that have filed for asylum when they didn't have a good case for asylum. And when they get there and it's denied in the vast majority of cases, then they're given an order to leave and they don't. So they overstay, but they clog the courts up. So people that have legitimate reasons don't ever get a chance to have their day in court.
Thanks for joining us on this important discussion. Where do you stand on these difficult questions? Should the laws be strictly enforced no matter what? Or should there be exceptions for those who have built lives and contributed to society? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in-depth conversations on the issues that shape our world. See you next time.